Welcome to another video by Pharos Technology. Today I want to go over some basic form controls that you'll use repeatedly as you continue to work on your forms. So let's get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to this Create tab. And in the Forms section, you have Form Design here. Now, Form Design immediately comes up and it'll show your property sheet over here. You can also swap this out for Add Existing Fields and show a field list. Now, in order to have a field list, of course, you've got to know what table you want. And so I'm going to choose my products table here. So let's just pull out the description over here. So the first thing that you'll want to know is that when you pull a field directly onto the thing, it automatically becomes a text box. Now, a text box is something that you can put text into. So when you're actually viewing this in Form View, this is your text box where you can actually input. This over here is called your label. If I put this back in Design View, it's important to note that when you go to your property sheet, you'll see this and you'll see the name of that label. Now, the name of that label appears at the top of your Alt tab here, and you can change that label name as much as you want. You can make it more descriptive, so you can address it easier when you're writing VBA code or other types of things where you need to know where to find particular items on your form. I usually leave it at label 0 unless I have a need for it to be somewhere else. And so the caption is what the user sees here. Now, the description, of course, then you can a lot of times pretty it up by moving things around. Now, if you move this around, for example, they're connected. If you click this and move it, you'll notice that they're connected. Now, if you don't want them to be connected, if you want to go ahead and move this around independently, you do so with the big handle up in the upper left-hand corners, and then you can move them around all you want. Now, if you want your label to look a little bit more elegant, you can go over here to Format, and you can change all kinds of different things, such as color, such as whether it's flat or whether it's raised. And if you do that, the raised button looks like that with a little bit of shadow underneath it, so you can see a little bit better where your labels are versus where your text fields are. So that's your basic text box. Please note that you'll have to explore a little bit to see all the different things you can do with text boxes versus your labels here or any of those things. So let's go back to Design View here. As you continue on, a lot of times you'll want to put a button on your form. So let's go create a button. So I'll go to the Form Design here, and up here I can choose a button. And if I click that, I can click here, and it gives me a wizard that I can use to fill out. Many times your button will be simply, record navigation, or you'll bring up another form or bring up a report. Okay, you can bring up another application. This one only lets you quit the application, for example. I use this particular button many times when I want to restrict the user to doing an exit the same way every time. I a lot of times will put code underneath the quit application button that will allow me to process some data that was put on that form, or during the session that they created several different records. I'll put code under that. So I can quit the application here. Then I remove the close button off the form, and they are forced to use that particular button. So those are particularly useful. Miscellaneous, you can do various things like run a macro, run a query, print a table. Okay. Record navigation, you can go to first, next, last, and so forth. You can put your own navigation buttons instead of relying on the ones that are in the bottom left-hand corner with your button. So let's just do a simple form operation. Let's open a form on this one. And I click next, and it gives me my list of forms. Let's open the products form and open the form and show all the records. or open the form with specific data, and then you could put in a filter that filters to a specific piece of data. And maybe that specific piece of data is a text box that you've already filled in here, whether it be bound or unbound, so that you can pull up a specific record. Maybe they need to refer to details that are on another form that you don't want the full details on this particular form. So you put the code in there to open a form and filter to a specific record. So usually I'll open a form and display all records because I'm just using it as more of a navigation button than a specific piece of data to display. So when I click next, it allows me to put a picture MS Action form. I usually put open products form here. I put some text in there. This text is going to appear on the button. So now it shows command 1, and over here in the property sheet at this point, for just basic setup of the button, it's going to use command form, but this will quickly change as soon as I finish the form. And so meaningful name you want to refer to, open products form. That's my open products form button, and I open it and open product form. Okay, so there is the name that I gave it, open products form with no spaces. Here's the name that I put for the caption, open product form. And you see that the button has open product form. The button will appear very flat at this point. If I go to design view, it just has, a little variegated blue color behind it plus a line around it. So once I get my form put together here, then I can go over here to the Format tab and change the colors or grid lines or various items. I can have a hover color, I can have a pressed color. I can make modifications to it to be more intuitive to the user as they press it or hover over it or do various different things so they can see that the program is still active and working. So that's buttons. Now, the next thing is a combo box. What happens when you want to, let's say, see the contents of available data that you want to put in? So let's go ahead and look in our table here and let's look at make. Let's go over here to the make and pull that over. And here I have a text box, and you see how they're still connected. And in the make one, let's say I want to use a drop-down combo box. In other words, a list that shows me the different makes that are already in the database that I choose from. Now, the next thing I would do is to go over here to the field itself, and I would right-click on it. And up here is a thing called Change To, and here I can change it to a combo box. Now, when I change it to a combo box, the property sheet changes a little bit because it's a combo box property sheet now instead. It adds the down arrow here, and now it's expecting you to figure out what data, what information needs to go in there. If I go to my data tab, I can then choose my row source. And my row source from that needs to be, let's say in table products, I pull this over. And what I want is just to put make in there. And in order to have that, I want it to be ascending so that I can show in alphabetical order the different makes of vehicles that I have. And then when I click to close this, I can say yes to save the property, and it'll put my select statement right in there as my row source. Now I only want the one field, so that the bound column is going to be the first field. You don't have to put the first field as the bound column. You can put the second or third or fourth, however many fields that you want to put. Like, for example, when you're wanting them to choose an item from another table, but you only want the ID in the table that's under this form, a lot of times you'll choose to put the ID in that query, but the bound column will be the ID number, but the column you show in this combo box would be not the ID, but the actual verbiage in the field that has text in it. I'm going to not limit this to list. In other words, if they want to add a new item that doesn't exist in the list, they can go ahead and just type it in there. Okay. The next thing is I will go over here to format, and the column count in my query is only one. A lot of times you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have any number of actual columns in this drop-down list. The column widths then you determine here. Let's say I want to make this one a 2-inch. And I'll just put a 2 in there and it'll put the inch symbol there. Do I want column headings? No, I don't need that. It's already labeled here as the make. System list width is auto. It's going to limit it to 2 inches, but it's going to auto, meaning that it won't go any wider than my field here. Okay, so let's take a quick look at what this does here. And I'm going to put it in design view. This one's a Buick, but look at that. Now, I can see an issue here that I need to just go modify the query. I need it to be a totals query where I group things so that I'm only seeing 1 Ford, 1 Duesenberg, 1 Ducati. So let me go make that quick modification. I'll show you how to do that. We go to design view here. We go to the data tab again. We come here, we click the ellipse on the right hand side so we can get to editing here. And then I just want to click my totals button up here in order to make this a group by. And now when I take a look at this one, I get just singles of each of the items. And I probably should have tested this before I actually ran forward with it. But, you know, those things you can always change if you forget them along the way like I just did. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to say yes to save. Now let's go take a look at it again in form view. And now when I look at it, I get a list of others. Now, there must be something a little bit different about these two. Maybe there's a space after one and not a space after the other. That's a data cleanup issue. And you can go look at the data and see what's really going on there so that you can fix that. Okay, so it allows me to choose whatever field that I want for my record here. Okay, so let's go back to design view. And the next thing I want to show you is a list box. What if I want this instead to be a list box? So let's change it to a list box. Okay, now when I take a look at it, I don't really need to change anything else because all of the parameters for a list box are the same as a combo box. It just presents to the user differently. So let's go look at form view, and here you see the list. Now you just choose one of those and you move on. That's the one that it's going to be. This Buick Skylark is now turned into an Aston Martin. That must be a pretty peculiar car. Okay, so let's keep playing. Okay, the next thing I want to show you, we talked about the labels. That's already done. Now, what is this thing with a bound or an unbound text box? Now, all of these text boxes that I've created at this point are all bound. What that means is that when you look, for example, at this one, that it has a control source. Now, if I were to put a text box in there, now let's go over here and I'll pull this one down. I'll click that, click here. Notice it says unbound. And what that means is there just isn't data behind it. There's no data in the table that's behind that particular field, meaning the user can type in whatever they want into that field. Now, a lot of times what you'll do with an unbound text box is you'll have this text field, and I'll change this to say enter customer ID. Okay. Now I've made this a little bit too wide, so I'll pull that back out. Enter customer ID. Okay. Now what happens here is the user will then enter the customer ID in here, and then I'll have what they call an event, and I'll say after update, and I'll use this as the filter for another form, for example, like this open product form. I'll have this filled in and it opens the product form. Well, I'll have another one that says open the customer's form, and I'll have that button be clicked and it'll go and filter down to the customer so they can get customer information, for example. So an unbound text box is incredibly useful when you need to connect information from one form or one table to another table and direct the flow of your form so that the user can use that flow. These are the basics. 90% of your coding will be done with these objects on your form. That's important because the 90% is good. Now, the challenge is that when you hit a situation where you need the other 10%, where do you go get that information? Hopefully in future videos, I'll provide all that information so that you can find all those unique pieces of information that you need in order to make your forms as good as they can be. So please hit the subscribe button. And if you think this video is valid and want to get it out to other people, hit that like button. And we'll look forward to seeing you again later. Thanks.